Hello there, my name is Metimbe Thomas Chuma, and this is the Son of Kama podcast. Thank you for listening in. And this is new series that I'm doing. It's kind of like an honest deep dive into my psychology. And, well, according to what I think is my psychology, I'm not an expert in any of this shit. So, today I wanted to talk about my story from sort of like a journey from a doomer to a bloomer kind of person. So a doomer is a kind of person who has a nihilistic outlook on life, and they don't really have what you would say is a positive outlook, and they have like in a state of mind which is kind of like they're sort of depressed at the same time, but then they sort of lack a purpose in life. I guess that's one way that you could put it, and mostly it's around people that are kind of my age and going up to maybe 20, 29, 30, early 30s. There's some tumors that are around 35, but then as a rare case scenario, but then that is a tumor. And then a bloomer is kind of the opposite of what a doomer is. A bloomer sort of has a more optimistic kind of view of the world. Like, he understands that there is suffering and all the bad things that are happening, but then he still chooses to see the better side of things and sort of be optimistic and follow, and has kind of a purpose to his life. I know that, like, I'm not really doing these definitions any justice. I'm sorry, internet detectives. So, why did I become a doomer, as you would put it? Well, I think it was around winter holiday, my first winter here. Yeah, and shit, it was pretty windy today. Yeah, Trump was right. Wind is very expensive. So I think it was my first holiday here, the winter holiday, and with the winter's very depressing because there isn't really much to do and you always have to stay indoors. So you can easily lose your shit very, very quick, especially if you spend a lot of time doing nothing. You become so I sort of became conscious of the fact that I was spending so much time doing nothing, and I wasn't sleeping very well, and I wasn't eating very well, and the content that I was consuming on the internet and on my laptop wasn't really helpful at all. So I slowly started to descend into that danger zone where you kind of feel yourself losing yourself, and it was pretty difficult because when you have everything that you need to be alive, and then you don't really feel like, you don't feel happy, like you don't feel fulfilled. My friends would get that one. You don't feel, because like you are expecting that when you have all of that stuff, and that you are actually gonna be happy and everything is gonna be fine. So then when that doesn't happen for you, you sort of get into this shock surprise state. It's like, I thought this is what I need to be, a full holistic human being and all of that. But then, so for me, I was sort of a bit of a materialist, if you put it that way, because I'm a sneakerhead. I'm a big fan of sneakers. So I'll be like, maybe if I buy this sneaker, then I'd be happy. But then you buy this shoe that you always want and you think is gonna give you some form or level of happiness, but then you get it, you collect it, it comes, and then you open it, you look at it, you try it on, and then you take it off and put it in the box and slide it under the bed. that's almost the end of that satisfaction. There goes that out the window. So then you ask yourself, like, maybe I should get another shoe. Maybe that will make me happy. Maybe it's the other shoe. But then at a certain point, you kind of realize that now none of this is going to address the problem of what I'm feeling right now, and which is kind of where I was as a person. And it's a little bit more difficult because you can't really tell people about it, because you yourself, you don't really understand what's the problem. So it's a bit difficult to fight an invisible enemy, let alone to ask help to fight an invisible enemy, because like you would really sound crazy. People are like, hey, well, how are you? No, I'm not okay. What's wrong? I don't know. How can I help you? I don't know. You see, so like you really don't know how to ask for help. And even if you do ask for help, people already don't know how to help you, because they don't know what the problem is. So that's sort of how I became a doomer, you know. It was a lonely time in my life. I was feeling pretty isolated, that's so to say. And the funny part is, you feel more isolated when you're around people than when you're alone. And that one is more, is a little more of the problem. But then now let me tell you how I became a bloomer, which is the opposite of that. So, how did your boy end up becoming a bloomer? Well, it was a bit of luck, to be honest, and a lot of YouTube. I think YouTube really helped me out during that time, because I sort of started bumping into lectures by this dude called Jordan Peterson. I don't know if your people know about him, but then his lectures really went a long way to getting me to a place where I felt a little bit more alive, you know, because like his lectures and his talks, them less focused on pampering you and telling you how much of a great person you are and how much great things that you're gonna achieve, and they're more of telling you that, dude, you are not what you are, what you could be, and you know it, which is one of his best catchphrases. And that really went a long way to guiding me along, and then to me realizing that I could do better with my life, and maybe life is very horrible and bad things happen to good people all over the world, but I could stop torturing myself here and start assigning value to my time, you know. So then I started focusing more on my programming, and then I worked, I learned it properly on YouTube and did a few courses. Then I became a front-end web developer. I did a few projects for a few people, and then I went on to become a full-stack developer, learned the front end and the back end. And then I was like, maybe there's a little bit more to this life, you know. So then I started watching more sports. I started to expand my horizons, you know. Started watching the soccer, which I originally did, and then got into MMA, like the UFC, jiu-jitsu, boxing, all of that stuff, and even the NFL, and occasionally the NBA. And this really sort of like helped me broaden my horizons, and the happier that I become. So then that really started to help me to switch from the doomer mindset to sort of a bloomer mindset, you know. Bloomer, like bloom,